Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or if you're British, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I don't know why they changed it to Sorcerers for the Americans. I guess they think we're too stupid to know what a philosopher is, but it's okay. It's basically the same book. Um, Now, I don't really need to tell you what this book is about because, like, it's Harry Potter 1. Obviously, everybody knows what this is. I think it's the Goodreads book with the most amount of ratings ever. So, probably one of the most read books of all time. Probably, I don't know how that, I don't know. But some things that are really popular, I think these things don't deserve the hype, you know. Um, but some things, like this, or maybe Stranger Things, I'd read it or watch it and think, you know what, these do deserve the hype. This book is amazing. This book slaps. There's a reason why there's a whole theme park at Universal about Harry Potter. There's a reason why there's 8 successful movies. Like, it makes sense, you know? J.K. Rowling is like the master of, well, one of the masters of world building. You know, she's the, the details he puts into Hogwarts or Diagon Alley is just so, like, she makes it feel like a real place, you know. Somebody else who does that really good is Tolkien. Tolkien's much wider scale, but still, like, I think she does a really good job too. The way she, like, describes places, it makes them feel like characters in the book too. Like, Hogwarts is a character in the book almost. Because of, like, how rich the history and details are. But still marketed at a young audience, so they're able to not get too overwhelmed by it. If I handed, like a Mistborn book to an 11-year-old or a 10-year-old, they'd probably get a little overwhelmed by it because it's just, Mistborn's very complex and stuff. Um, Not that they're like, inappropriate or anything, but it just, it's a lot. I feel like Harry Potter is just good at making it, like, I don't know, accessible, I'd say. Speaking of characters, he's also like fantastic at writing characters. A lot of times when authors try to write children, they either make them like very annoying and bratty, or they make them basically adults in tiny bodies. She doesn't do that. She writes children as if they're actually children. They make mistakes, they learn. Um, they have like these little children feuds. I don't know. I really like the way she writes children. People say like, oh, these books are pretty light-hearted compared to the later books, and while I think that's true to a certain extent, the first book does have its share of dark moments. You know, Harry grew up in an abusive household. It's pretty dark, like reading it as an adult, because like when I read this when I was like 10 or something, I guess the themes didn't really stick in, but yeah, clearly, there's a lot of trauma that Harry has already before he even goes to Wizard School. Um, Maybe some of that could be like influenced because I know J.K. Rowling, while writing this book, was in an abusive relationship, so maybe that kind of inspired her to write it, or at least those scenes. But yeah, Aunt Petunia and Uncle Dursley are the worst. Like I get, Petunia and her sister had a sibling rivalry, but that doesn't have an excuse to like abuse their nephew. Jeez. Speaking of that, like, there's so many adults here who have feuds with this 11-year-old boy. This poor boy is like constantly bullied by his teacher Snape because Snape and his dad didn't get along. It's like Snape needs to grow the fuck up. This is an 11-year-old boy we're talking about. Like, why are you bullying him? No, we find out about Snape's backstory later in the books, but still, that's no excuse. Like, what's wrong with you? And then, like, other dog parts about, like, Voldemort and like, possessing Krill. That chapter freaked me out when I was little, about, like, finding the head on the back of his head. That was so creepy when I was little. It terrified me, but it's just done in such a good way. Um, she's good at, like, making these plots and like implying that there's more to the puzzle than there is. Because you can tell that she planned the series out in advance. You hear about a bunch of stuff, like you hear about Sirius Black in Chapter 1. You just think he's some throwaway character. But even though his life is constantly threatened, I do like how Harry enjoys Hogwarts a lot. Um, I like his friendship with Ron because really Ron is Harry's first real friend. It's really sweet. And one of the most heartwarming moments is when Mrs. Weasley um, makes a sweater for him for Christmas. That's so touching because, Harry's often like a little envious of Ron because Ron has this huge family who loves him, and Harry doesn't really have that. So that was such a nice like gesture of Molly to do. That's why Molly's one of my favorites. She's like the mother he never had. With Hagrid is like he's a champ. He's always there for Harry, except for the whole dragon thing. But just the warmth he exudes, it's like Harry's lacking that in his entire life. So I think when people are nice to him, he appreciates it much more. Hermione's also a very good character in this. She starts off like Harry and Ron don't really like her because she's kind of a know-it-all. Um, but like when they make fun of her and she starts crying, you're kind of reminded like this is an 11-year-old, you know. Uh, so like obviously she's emotional. They're all emotional. Now's a good scene because it really like humanizes her, and then after they save her from the troll, they become best friends. It's I don't know. Hermione's a great character. She's very clever, very human. Other books called Harry Potter, but I would have liked to learn like I would have liked to see more of Hermione's home life outside of Hogwarts and like what it's like with her parents. Because for all we know, she has like a very good relationship with her parents, who are Muggles. I I always wanted to see that like how non-wizards react to the wizarding world. I don't know. I think that would have been cool. Neville's also a really good character here. Pretty minor in this book, but I like when his whole arc of learning to stand up for himself. Cause I kind of had problems standing up for myself when I was their age, so I could relate to Neville a little bit. I love that scene where like him and Ron just start beating up Malfoy. Speaking of that, what's Malfoy's problem? Like, why is he such an asshole? I mean, I know bullies could be bullies when you're 11, but still, like, I don't know. I guess we all went to school with a couple Malfoys in our time. Realistic, but still, the character's such a dick for no reason. Sometimes gets away with it. So yeah, all in all, the Sorcerer's Stone is a great way to start the series. Like, obviously, the series reaches its heights in the later books, but this is still, like, just a great book all around. I recommend it to pretty much anybody. Um, like, there's all the fantasy stuff, which is so interesting, but then you also have, like, feeling, like, the themes of friendship and kindness and, like, themes of death, which is kind of cool because you don't really see that in children's books that often. So yeah, don't expect a video on a Chamber of Secrets until June because I'm also reading the Stormlight Archive series and the Neapolitan novels by Elena Ferrante. So balancing these series is kind of results in big times in between reading books. But I definitely will be continuing the series again. Like I said, I read these when I was like in middle school or elementary school, so it's been a long time. But I am really enjoying reading them again as an adult. I think it's great. So let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.